On the line with us is John W. Whitehead, a constitutional attorney and president of the Rutherford Institute, author of the new book, Battlefield America, The War on the American People. Rutherford is rutherford.org, a conservative think tank. John, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So our government is waging war on us. Are you not concerned also about the corporations that are waging war on us?
Oh, yeah, the corporations behind it. I mean, as that recent Princeton study showed, the country's been run by an oligarchy, sure. Funding all the militarized equipment. People have argued that it's just giveaway equipment from Afghanistan. If you do your research, sir, you'll find out that at least 40% of that equipment is new, produced by the corporations. So the country is run by the corporate elite, and they're using the police as mercenaries.
So, and I don't disagree with that. And this was set up in large part, starting in 1976 with the Buckley versus Vallejo decision by the Supreme Court, saying that money is protected by the First Amendment. The ability to buy a politician is protected by the First Amendment. So we have all these large corporations that are buying our politicians. How do we get a democracy back that's responsive to we the people rather than just the corporate elite and the billionaire class?
Well, how I argue in my book, America, is that, and I spend the last section of the book, my hero is Martin Luther King. Before he died, he wrote a tremendous essay that came out after he died, or after he was shot and murdered. He argued for militant nonviolent resistance. He was going to take over Washington with a thing called Resurrection City, bring people in, very organized. He said the government no longer listens to us. So what I'm telling people is get active on the local level, especially when you see these crazy SWAT team raids where they're going through people's doors, shooting unarmed citizens, those kind of things. Pass a resolution by your town prohibiting that unless it's approved by a civil liberties committee set up. So there are many things we can do, but we're going to have to get involved. The average American watches about 150 hours of television a month. What I'm telling people is give 80 hours of that for freedom and get active on the local level. I think you have much less impact. In fact, that Princeton study shows, you may be familiar with it, it says really clearly that the average voter on the national level has very little impact. But on the local level, I tell you this, I've seen 10 people with picket signs change the law in the local community. And getting active and following the principles of Martin Luther King, it does work.
So the central focus of the concern of your book is government overreach.
Overreach, overcriminalization. I mean, there's a guy in Texas now spending 17 days in jail because his grass was too high. We're involved in cases where people have a single chicken in their backyard for eggs. Well, you know, the large corporate entities that run the supermarkets, they help pass laws against that. Right. We had a case in Norfolk, Virginia, where the police arrived and actually took the chicken in custody and went off with it. We're seeing all those kind of cases.
Well, sometimes that's zoning. I mean, don't you think that people in a local community should have the right to
large national groups that are connected to corporations that are passing those laws that they want to make sure that you can't collect rainwater on your property now? There's a guy now serving jail time for that. Yeah. So what's happened is we've lost control of our local communities, and what I'm telling people, get this, you better get it back soon, because you know it's happening in the schools too. We have a case right now where a 4-year-old in preschool is throwing a little fit. Police arrived, put him in handcuffs and shackles, took him to the police station and put him in an isolation room. His mother was only 5 minutes away. They didn't even talk to her. Again, you can change that. Get down to your local school board. They shouldn't be handcuffing kids or tasering kids in public schools now, middle school students. So,
yeah, the good news on all of this is that you can change it, and the things that you're talking about are principally local issues, and I don't disagree with the local hyper-militarization of the police, the turning them into warriors, essentially, moving them, transforming them from serve and protect to occupy and control, I guess, has been the mode. But what about things like, in May of 2014, last year, there was 2 chlorine dioxide chemical leaks. This is very, very poisonous stuff from a Coke-owned facility, cellulose facility in Taylor County, Florida. You had ongoing releases of benzene and other chemicals from Coke's oil refinery in Corpus Christi. This is cancer stuff. Hundreds of thousands of pounds of toxic chemical contamination from Coke-owned Georgia Pacific facility in Crossett, Arkansas, is reported in 2011. In 2000, the EPA fined Coke Industries $30 million for 300 oil spills that resulted in more than 3 million gallons of crude. I mean, isn't there a point at which we say, okay, on the one hand, we don't want militarized government snooping on us. But on the other hand, you've got big corporations out there that have so much power. They own so many politicians. They have so many lawyers. You try and take them on, they crush you like a bug. Their power, with the single exception of the legal incarcerate or kill you, which is held by the government, their power is virtually limitless, and the extent to which they control the government, they could probably even exercise that kind of government power. How, if you want to diminish the size and power of government, what else is there that can protect us from the billionaire class and predatory corporations that are despoiling our planet and our communities?
Well, you're right. They're despoiling the communities. The environmental concerns are very important. We shouldn't allow that. But what I've seen, I'm a civil liberties lawyer. The thing that I've seen that changed things most is people getting active. I love the Occupy movement. In 2011, they beat the holy poop out of them. They put them down. I wish that would come back. We need to revive those we need to get the young people involved. But I think Martin Luther King was right. He said that it's time to march on Washington, get together, local communities, but it's going to have to be here and there and there and here and there.
So you don't want to talk about corporate power?
Do what?
I'm asking what do we do about corporate power in the United States? Frankly, I'm much more concerned about the fact that when I was a kid, every downtown and every local mall was nothing but local businesses, and now they're nothing but jobs.
Read the book because I have a whole section on Mussolini and Hitler.
Yeah.
What Mussolini, he coined the term corporatism. He was praised by the New York Times. He was praised at the time of genius. Winston Churchill praised him. Yep. I'm against corporate control of government. I would throw the corporate government. How in the world do we do that? I haven't heard a politician in years speak against it, basically.
Well, Bernie Sanders
is running in power, and then they don't do it. So how do you do that? The only thing that works in this America is up, down, up, the bottom activism by the American people. If we don't do that, and you can stop the corporations, I think. Get outside. If you don't like what they're doing, they're polluting the Coca-Cola plant with 40 or 50 demonstrators, and if you decide you want to do a little civil disobedience, set in.
Right, but here's the difference. See, Coca-Cola can have you arrested, whereas if you protest at your local member of Congress's office, they can't because government respond to us. Corporations are not supposed to respond to us.
Some of the cases.
Yeah.
Here's the point. Martin Luther King said this. He said,
John, do you know that that the entire congressional caucus, which is the largest or second largest caucus in Congress, has endorsed an amendment to the Constitution to say that the Supreme Court was wrong in '76 when they said that political money is protected by the First Amendment, and that they were wrong in Citizens United when they said that corporations should have the same rights as human beings.
I agree with all that.
Okay, so MoveToAmend.org, organizations like totally bipartisan. In fact, a lot of Tea Partiers are members of MoveToAmend.org.
Who wrote the Fourth Amendment weren't talking about corporations. They were talking about slaves, okay?
Yeah.
They need equal rights.
Yeah, the 14th Amendment, yeah.
It's all been screwed over by money and power.
Well, it's the railroads.
The candidates today, when they run for office, have to have so much money to run for office. Who's controlling that? The corporate. People ask me, when you vote for the president, who do you vote for? You vote for a corporation.
Right.
We all know that.
So you are in favor of a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics?
Get it out.
Yeah, I'm with you. From
I think
the Rutherford Institute, I never thought I'd say that. But
the three most beautiful words in English language are "we the people." That's how the Constitution starts. We are the government.
Say "we the corporations." Although the new one, if the Republican Party gets the constitutional convention they want, maybe it'll say "we the corporations." Because right across the board, in the House and Senate are opposed to this constitutional amendment. Democrats are in favor of it, and I agree with you. I think it's necessary. John Whitehead, constitutional attorney and president of the Rutherford Institute, Rutherford.org. His new book, Battlefield America. Thank you, John.
Thank you.